We are live. Another great edition of the Chef and the Fox coming to you this Saturday. Lots of game action. We've got some Premier League action ready to kick off. We've got some great guests joining us today. Once again, we'll have Sean Shorkey talking about NCAA basketball. We'll sit there and have myself and Chef talking about live soccer action that's going on. All kinds of plays today. The Bundesliga has already kicked us off, and we've got goals. Never stop, nonstop goals. It's going to be a great day of some action today. Obviously, we've got that little event tomorrow that's going to happen, go place, and we know we're going to have the KC special with D-Money. So glad you basically decided to come join us today. Should be a good time. Lots of things going on. I'm also going to address a little issue from our short-sighted friend. So glad you guys coming in here. 1 second. What's everybody looking like? How's everybody in the chat? All right, guys. Welcome. A little bit of audio difficulty here. Let me just adjust something real quick. All right. Can you guys all hear me? Hello? Hello? Testing. Let me test this real quick. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, do you guys all hear my intro? All right. It's good. All right. So, a lot of good days going. We got the Bundesliga going. We got Bayern Munich already having 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. We got Dortmund celebrating a 19-year-old scored 25 goals in the Bundesliga. And then we've got another little 19-year-old that actually looks like he's trying to steal his thunder. Other than that, just to go over the plays real quick that I've got going on right now. I've got Leverkusen Moneyline that's already kicked off. Leverkusen over 3. We've already got 2 goals there. We got Bournemouth over 2.5 for both teams to score, whichever way you get. I love Newcastle Moneyline. I think they win. I like Real Madrid Moneyline. I know some people out there are on the draw. I don't mind that play. I understand that play, but with Joao Felix not playing for Atletico Madrid, I think they're kind of toothless. Valencia Moneyline and Young Boys Moneyline. We go to the Swiss leagues. We also got Liverpool kicking off. I do not like the -1.5 versus Southampton. It's generally a pretty close game versus them. I do think Liverpool's going to win. I've got them in a couple ACCAs. My personal play, I like Wolves Moneyline. I even got a handy-dandy thing that you can get on with 1 minute left if you want to. I got Luton Moneyline and Wolves Moneyline. Now, obviously, Luton wins at 10 o'clock. I'm going to hedge. That's a plus 733. That's overall basically a plus 3,800. So I like that play, just teasing it a little bit. But if that plays, I'll definitely hedge my butt off on that Wolves game if Luton wins. Because definitely have a chance to be able to do it. We've got some great college basketball going on. We've got some NBA action that's going on. We've got a line. I know they're holding off. They're trying to figure out if Kawhi is playing today with the Clippers or they're going to give us a late second. We'll just drop them right 5 minutes before game time. Chef Michael has joined us. Welcome, Chef.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Doing all right. Not too bad. I was telling everybody we're kicking off the Goals League already. That thing is in full form. We just got goals everywhere you look, the nonstop goals. Bayern's already scored 3 goals in 30 minutes. Dortmund scored 2 goals in 20 minutes. You've got Sancho getting the record as the most goals for an under 19-year-old, 25 goals. And then at the same time, you got Eric Hollins scores again. He has 6 goals in 17 minutes. The 19-year-old shows that he's probably the best signing of the January transfer window by far. Before we get going, I know it's 10 o'clock. Let's go over some of the plays I know you're on. You want to shoot those out real quick?
Yeah, I have Liverpool and under 4.5 that just started. I also have
Yeah, you're tailing
Bologna.
who's it, Martin? Is that
Yeah,
Martin that's been doing that under 4.5?
covered that during the show.
Yep.
What's that?
You got Bologna money line?
I took Bologna and Brescia, both teams to score, and then I added Bologna and both teams to score at like 3.75, I think it was.
Well, you already cashed the both teams to score.
Yeah, both teams to score has already come in, so I just need one more from Bologna. I am also on Parma, draw no bet at 2.75. I think Parma's going to be too strong.
Yeah, I like Parma here.
They're on one of those rolls right now that similar to what Sheffield United's been doing, climbing up the table. It's pretty remarkable what Parma's been able to do since coming up since last year. I also have Newcastle at 2.2 and the Wolves. I think the Wolves are going to overpower United today. United are coming off that kind of huge win against City. I mean, it's always huge when you beat your rival, but City could have advanced without winning, obviously. So it's kind of a bust how seriously they took that match. But nevertheless, United still has no business beating the Manchester City.
No, and if you watch the game, City played with the ball several times in the box. There was no goalie. He's sitting there trying to step and troll and drag, and I'm like, just shoot the ball on net. Come on, you've got an easy rebound.
Did you see that play where David Silva gets the ball inside the 6-yard box, open net, and then passes it back to a defender?
Yeah. That was the point where I was like, all right, they're not really. And that was the one thing I wrote in the Discord at halftime. I was like, the issue with this game right now is because with them trailing on that late goal, they don't need to win. They can literally just sit back and make sure it's 1-0, and that's it, or we can make it 1-1. I really didn't like City's chances to win once they got that late goal in the first half. That kind of changed that around. Couple things interesting to kind of look at. Welcome, Sean Shorkey. Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Didn't know if you realized you were on camera. You're looking at your plays, I assume.
Yeah, I was watching ESPN actually.
You're watching the Kobe thing last night. That was definitely well done, well said. I mean, I am glad it's done, so we can kind of, as they said in the third quarter, kind of start to move on. Unfortunately, we're going to get it again in 2 weeks in the All-Star game as we dedicate the All-Star game to Kobe Bryant. And we basically went to like the women's All-Star game format where it's you win each quarter. And then whoever wins gets a magic 24 points at the end. So how's that going to count in betting? Do we take the over? Because it's pretty much going to be an extra 24 points.
Yeah, I guess.
Because the official thing said they're adding 24 points. How in the world are you going to bet on that?
Yeah, you got.
I don't know. Right now, the NBA is all messed up. Basketball, I don't know. I just don't want to bet on it.
Yeah, if you were like my buddy who everyone joked around, put $2. He took Portland and Denver money lines on a parlay. Dortmund is
ended up hitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was nice. It was $300 or something for that $2 bet. So I've got a similar. I've got a similar now. I've got Luton money line and Wolves money line. Sorry, Sean.
I said I kind of feel bad because I was talking in the Discord yesterday about my friend who said that like his friend wins a lot of money, and when he sent me a copy of his friend's card, it was basically all the high money lines parlayed for basketball. And so my friend was like, all right, he's like, I'm going to, he parlayed like the Lakers with whoever else was on the card. And what happened last night? Lakers lost. So sucks.
Yeah, I mean, NBA basketball, especially when you look at the key thing I think with NBA basketball is find the team that are actually like decent,
Right.
and like who could win, because that 13 points was a joke. I was on Portland right away to sit there and say Portland comes in hotter than a firecracker, especially on the offensive side. The Lakers I knew were going to play basically no defense. Like I even said in other shows and in Jimmy's show, I said that game's going to be an all-star game. That's going to be barely moving, no rotations, wide open shots. I mean, how many open dunks was there in the first half? It's like, all right, we're going to have nobody in the paint, and you're just going to slip, and then it's going to be a pass, and he's going to dunk it uncontested. The one guy, though, I got to sit there and said, if they picked an MVP of the game was Hassan Whiteside. I know Damon Lillard went off, but Hassan Whiteside was an absolute beast. He had over 20 points. He was hitting outside shots, even an outside fadeaway, basically, to seal the game in the fourth quarter. He had over 5 or 6 blocks. I forgot what it was, and he just owned the paint. I mean, as good as Davis had a great game, they definitely knew that Whiteside was there when he was there. D basically said he lost Lakers at 5.5. It is kind of sad that basically everyone's like, oh, bet the house on the Lakers versus the Clippers because there's no way they can lose because Kobe unfortunately was like, the motivation. I was like, the closer you are, the first quarter is, you can see LeBron didn't want to shoot. I think he knew right away. He was crying or sad. He was like, all right, I don't want to shoot. I'm just going to pass and move the ball. There was even that rumor. Chef, you're in LA, not in LA, but you're in California. So how much did you believe the rumor that LeBron was just trying to score 24 points last night?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it was kind of freaky that Embiid did it the other night without trying to do it. He had 24 points and 8 rebounds, I think his line was. So I wouldn't doubt that LeBron was trying to do that.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that a lot of people were like, take the under, because there's no way he's going to score 30 points because he's already kind of said that he doesn't want to. So it's kind of interesting that they came out and it was pretty easy to go. Excuse me 1 second. Let's send this to D real quick.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's like first-time bettors. Maybe I have a problem. Like maybe it's me just explaining it to them. But when you try to explain to them that just because there's like these high money lines and parlaying them together doesn't guarantee like you're gonna win, but they just don't understand like that concept. Like another way to look at it. But I guess it's just because they're first time too, so they don't know about like
people that have been betting for 10 years take those high money lines and parlays.
Vegas Dave, I've got the lock of the century. Here you go. All you got to do is bet $60,000 to win $1,000. But I mean, if you've got the bankroll, I understand it. But just have bankroll management. I mean, I'm not going to doubt and say I don't ever take these. I mean, sometimes my biggest hedge is I'll take the opposite side to create a middle, then I'll take a high money line, and then I'll take the last game that I'm just trying to basically get both sides to. Like, I've got already 16 parlays that are closing either on the Chiefs or the Niners for the Super Bowl. So I know I'm going to make money that game. That's not an issue. It's a question of just making sure I have enough money before then. So going into it. Yep. We got a Charlton goal versus Barnsley. I know that's not a big game. I looked at this English Championship games, and I there's not a lot of games I liked. I kind of like QPR versus Bristol City. Leeds was a big time. Fulham was one of my favorites, but the number was too high, but I took that personally. They just scored. Like we've already talked about Luton, I think West Brom could definitely win this game, but they've lost 6 in a row or haven't won in their last 6. That's saying, so I think that's definitely a chance here. I loved Watford, but I didn't take them. Everton's just one of those teams that may show up, may not show up. We got the Kansas City boy live here coming in. I know he's ready to show his Chiefs shirt, his Chiefs flag. I just want to know, did you have to get up and then get changed so you knew when you were going to appear? Did you get changed before you were popped on the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had my hat on.
So you had to be in full Kansas City gear. Yeah, I definitely I've seen that. So I know you're all into thinking Kansas City. I wrote a write-up in the Discord of what my thoughts on that game was. I think the game's relatively close. I see 28-24, somewhere around that run. I'm kind of split on the totals. I know you had to love the Madden simulation, didn't you, D?
Hell no.
For those of you who don't know, the Madden simulation had basically the Chiefs getting whitewashed because they couldn't stop the run, and the simulation just ran the run every single play. They also basically put Raheem Mostert as like the greatest running back ever of all time. But yeah, what a story that guy is. Hey, coming out, you're a kick returner and you're a linebacker. All right, let's turn around and let's play. To stay on this team, we need you to play running back. All right, I'll play some running back.
He shot himself. Well, he shot himself. He was homeless.
Yeah. He's a little bit crazy. So, Sean, before we get going, we're looking at obviously some live plays. We got a ton of games going on as most of the leagues start to get back together and get picking up. It's kind of funny. The one league that normally we get a lot of action on Saturday has only played 3 games, but it's kind of nice because you get a 9 o'clock game, you get a 12 o'clock game, you get a 2:45 game, which I call perfect parlay. So if you're not real happy on one, you can definitely always take the 2 action right away because the 2 games don't actually reflect each other, so you're not screwed if one loses. Kind of looking at, Sean, some NCAA basketball play that's going to tip off in a couple hours. What are you looking at?
So I was looking at. Oh, actually, before I get into that, did you see Sophia Kennan? I don't know if you cashed that or.
Yes, I cashed that. That was nice. It made up for the Osaka and the Barty one there, so I made a little bit on that, so that was nice. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, that was a great match. I was watching it until like 5 a.m.
We'll see. It's still Djokovic for the men, right?
Yeah, it's still Djokovic for the men.
All right.
So I guess like an early game that's coming up is so Creighton at Villanova. I know you're a big Nova fan over there. I think
they win. That's my fantasy. I love the coach. I love Jay Wright. They play the basketball the right way. They play hard defense, and they just win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt. I don't think they're not going to win this game, but the line is at 6.5. So I think they're playing at Wells Fargo because Nova doesn't play in their home court, right? They play in like 3 or 4 different courts, I think, across Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, but it's still technically a home game. I have this game at like Nova by 4.5. I think Nova's like 3-point defense is pretty good. They're only allowing up to 29% shooting from 3. And Creighton is actually number 1 in the conference in 3-point shooting. So I'm curious to see how that matchup works with Villanova trying to slow down Creighton since Creighton leads that conference. But I kind of like Creighton in this spot because I think their offense is really good. If you look at like in Ken Palm, according to their ratings in the conference, they're top 10 overall. Their defense is not that great. They can't rebound. So they're kind of just all offense, no defense. But I think that they match up well against Nova because they played them a few weeks ago, and I think they were winning that game. And I think Villanova went off like late in the second half, and they were able to win it. And to
halftime. Win at halftime. Yeah. The line in that game was 2.
Yeah. So I think they match up well. Their offenses both match up well to each other. And being that Creighton last time, like, pretty much had a lead and was like almost had that game. Nova had to go on a big run to come back and win it. I think this time Nova does win the game, but I think Creighton will cover like the 6.5 points. It'll be closer than what we think.
Yeah, that's the thing. What do you think about the 11 o'clock game? I don't know why we have an 11 o'clock Saturday basketball game, but we've got Xavier at Seton Hall. The line's kind of high with 8.
Oh, I don't have that because I'm in Jersey. I can't bet that.
D Money has doubled down on Keenan. Isn't she like 17 shocks?
Yeah, 19, I think.
Okay. At least she's legal.
19.
Okay, all right. You guys can then continue with your comments since she's legal. Bad news. West Brom did score early. Still a lot of game left there. We've got some goals there. Also, one team I'm going to kind of point you out to if you're not looking at. Lorient in the French 2 League is probably one of the best teams in the league. They're either first or second team in the league. They'll probably have a major chance to get promoted. They're winning most of their games. You're still getting generally short lines on them. I can't believe I missed them because they're on my to-do watch. They're up 2 goals. So not a lot of live opportunities, and partly the reason is all the favorites are winning. I mean, all the teams that you'd like to look at and win are winning. Mainz scored, so you get Bayern Mainz over 3.5 in the first half. That's just crazy for a soccer game. So if you were on that, you're out of there. I'm on the 4, so right now I'm pushing. Dortmund's at 2-0 at the half. I need at least 2 more goals. I'm not sure I'm going to get that. You got one of the great games of the day is Rangers and Aberdeen. Dawns is at 0-0. That's going to be a game that sometimes could give the Rangers fits. Other than that, they should be able to win. Rangers picked up, if you didn't see it, the little Haggy, who started off the year great and then kind of fell off at Genk. But they picked him up on loan for the rest thing. So, Chef, how do you say his name? Ioannis Haggy?
Haji.
I know he's the son of the great Haggy.
I say Haji.
Haji? Yes. So I think that's a great signing for them. He's definitely a guy who has a lot of talent. Still young, but definitely will help that Rangers team. Not that they'll compete against Celtic. That loss to Hearts last week probably ended any chance for them to compete really against Celtic. On that, looking through, we've got Newcastle Norwich still at 0-0. Liverpool Southampton at 0-0. Waiting to kind of see some live numbers on that.
Doesn't Southampton usually play like Liverpool well? No?
Yes, they do. Yeah. That's why I was talking to Chef, and we were talking, and I was saying, do we like the -1.5 here? And we're like, we looked at the history, and he kind of came back. I was like, it's always generally a pretty close game. If you look at that history, and I was like, yeah, it generally is. You also got to think the loss of Mane is big.
God damn it.
What?
I missed it. Damn it.
Mo Salah should have buried this fucking goal.
Yep. All right. And they're putting there, I mean, it's a little bit different lineup without Mane, which is big. Oxlade-Chamberlain has been moved up to midfield to play basically left wing. So it's kind of there. Obviously, they still have the factors. The 3 things I look at Liverpool, anytime I look at, is Salah playing? Who's up front in the middle? Is it like somebody that's actually can play, not the minnow guy? Van Dijk is playing, and then I check for Alisson playing. Those are the 3 things I look at first when I consider Liverpool. If those guys are playing, I think they could win every game. I think Van Dijk's the best defender in the Premier League. It's not even close. And then he's also even a scoring option on set pieces, which is huge because he's just an absolute monster. He's like a taller Chef Michael sitting right there, and being just throw the ball up to him and let him go get it.
I wish I was that tall.
Like I said, I like Real Madrid versus Atletico. I think the key thing on that is Joel Felix is not playing. That really limits Atletico's ability to score. You're basically counting on Morata, who's good enough to score, but yeah, he's not as consistent. I loved Felix. He's one of my favorite signings of that team. Couple things, Chef. What do you feel about the transfer that got like no publication but happened, where Paco Alcacer left Dortmund to go to Villarreal?
That's huge for Villarreal to get Alcacer. I mean, you got to imagine, why would Dortmund make that move? I mean, is it because Holland's taking all the glory right now, or what?
It's pretty much got to be, because it's his first game. They started him today, and he went out there and scored. So, to me, before Dortmund, so on the same point when I looked at Liverpool, the key thing I used to look at Dortmund is, all right, is Royce playing? If Royce doesn't play, sometimes their ability to score is highly questionable.
Right.
They just don't have finishers. They get guys, they bring it into the thing. Yes, Sancho's a finisher too, but Sancho by himself with lesser talent out there hasn't always proved to be well. It's a lot of draw games or actually 0-0 games sometimes. But
it's kind of weird to imagine what direction Dortmund's headed right now, because they're talking about moving Sancho in the summertime. So either they're going to contend for this Bundesliga title, or they're gonna fall. They're not going to do it all with Holland.
Yeah, but here's my other part. The person that's really kind of got hurt the most from Holland is Thorgan Hazard. If you, for those of you who don't know, Thorgan Hazard was a scorer last year, high scorer, basically all the time starter. First time went to Dortmund, thought they started him a bunch in the beginning, and then he's kind of fallen off into a bench role, to his reserve role. The other guy they like, and I'm going to give you this name right now because you get every American should know this name, is Giovanni Reyna is actually in the reserves today. I'm interested to see if he gets in this game. For those of you who don't know him, that's Claudio Reyna's son. He's one of the next great American hopes. As like a Pulisic, he's 19 years old. He's 17 years old. But he is actually already scored for the big club off a reserve role versus Feyenoord in one of their friendlies. So he is one of the next guys I know they're trying to bring up, and I expect him to get a lot of action, especially in these lower games that they think they're going to win. So for the Americans there, it's definitely someone to kind of consider going forward. And Timothy Weah may actually play today. He may actually play for Lille today. He may finally stop being injured for like a year and a half and actually see the pitch.
Real quick. I don't think Watford's going to Everton's going to show up this game. Watford's already up 1-0, and we can still get a good price on Watford. So I'm jumping on their money line right now.
All right. Well, let me see what we got here.
I'm getting 1.66. But the other thing is Josh Sargent got hurt a couple weeks ago, and Pulisic is already obviously still hurt. No telling if Altidore is going to be fit. Zardes got hurt, from what I understand. If the United States fail to qualify for the Olympics again, Berhalter is going to get freaking thrown off the goddamn cliff. I mean, if they fail to qualify for the Olympics, it's going to be bad.
Yeah,
injuries or not.
Agreed, definitely.
Michael Bradley's probably still not 100%. I mean, they so you would have to think that Reyna is going to get some run in these qualifying matches. Might not play today, but maybe in the later rounds qualifying.
Yeah,
he should get some run, obviously.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to look at in the Schalke game yesterday that McKinney played left back.
Oh yeah.
He has played. They're playing him all over. They're playing him up top. They're playing him midfield. They're playing him in defense.
Yeah, that was one of the things they were talking about with McKinney is he'll play his pace and his energy. They'll put him wherever they need to put him, and he'll go out there and perform.
All right, let's shift a little gears here. Looking at some live. Lokomotiv Zagreb is just beating the crap out of Rijeka. That total was too high for me to take. But there's another thing. If you look at that Croatian league. Generally for an ACA filler, you could always look at Lokomotiv Zagreb. They generally win pretty easy. Hibernian actually scores for St. Marine. That's one of the parts in the Discord special parlay of plus, I don't know, what was it? Plus 137,000, Sean? Was that what it was?
Yeah, it was something close to that.
It's some outrageous 8-teamer that we created from different cappers, gave different games. So Hibernian was not one of the games I gave, but it basically was like if you put a $2 bet, you made like 30 grand, or it was like 13 grand. Can't remember. So just kind of a shoot for the moon thing. That's definitely up there. Kind of looking. Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes those hit. It's not an issue with sometimes hits. So let's shift gears. Sean, let's give you the floor here. Let's talk some college basketball as we roll in here in halftime. With not a lot else going on right here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Rich was talking about he's taking Butler first half minus 3.5. I think he was saying in the chat. I mean, this Butler team, they've won 2 straight. They play really, really slow, and I think they have who's it? Baldwin is like their main guy, and like he can take over a game at any time. They were able to get by Marquette, and then they beat Georgetown when Georgetown had a meltdown. I think that was on Wednesday, that game. And Aaron Thompson, who's a key player for them, he was out for both of those wins. But the biggest X factor on Butler is Sean McDermott. He's like their floor spacer. He plays like 30-plus minutes a night. And he's gotten hot over the past 2 games. So, like, when he's making threes, and the other guy, Tucker's, making threes, Butler's, like, unstoppable. But coming to Providence, since Aaron Thompson... What's up?
The game's at Butler. It's Indiana.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's at Butler. And Butler winning those back-to-back games. I think Providence hasn't played in a week, and the last time that they played, I think, who was it? They played Villanova. It was their last game, where they. Let me see. I think Providence. Yeah, it was Villanova, their last game, about a week ago, and they lost that one by 4. So, and that was only because like David Duke completely collapsed towards the end of that game. So, you know, they let Villanova into that. It was like a 1-possession game the whole time. I think the question is, can Providence, because they're a physical team, like can they match up against Butler? Especially with Butler's type of like slow tempo that they like to run. So I think Providence has lost 3 of their last 4, and this is like a motivational spot for me. So they're kind of motivated to come in here and try to get a win. I don't think they're going to win in Butler, but the line is at, I think it's at 7, or I got to see, where's the line here? I just had it in front of me. But either way, I like Butler to cover it. I think it was 6 or 7. But I'm not Butler. I like Providence to cover that. But I still think Butler wins the game.
So you like Providence to cover. Do you like this first half play?
Yeah, I like the first half play. I think Butler gets out pretty. I think Butler will get out, and I think Providence will have to work in the second half to kind of like close that gap. But they'll keep it within 7.
So is the Providence play, is that an official play?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Providence plus 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're playing that there. All right. No problem. Just to let you guys know, updated the record. As always, Chef and the Fox will always be 100% transparent. And I mean 100% transparent, meaning you could go to the Discord. You could see every play we made.
That's a penalty.
Every single play we made, you can see that what we're picking, and the mass majority of everything we're picking are minus 110s, minus 115s, maybe tops. Maybe we'll pick a money line that's like a before game in soccer, like minus 135. That's just the way soccer is. There, but overall, in a short little show, this is the 4th show that we've done this year. We're 44, 27, and 2. I'll take that any single day. That's 4 or 5 units a week. So definitely we're hitting enough plays here to keep it going. Please tell your friends, tell everybody, come join us. Not trying to compete with anybody. That's why I like doing it early Saturday morning. We just go through the games, get you guys early looks before the games start to take off. What else do you like here? I saw the books finally wised up and stopped giving Louisville plus 130 total points. Today it has jumped up to 140, but I'm still tempted.
You're still tempted to take that?
Because I just think NC State doesn't really play any defense either.
NC State doesn't play defense, and I think they've kind of regressed over the past. Didn't they lose to Georgia Tech? I think it had to have been earlier last week.
Lost to North Carolina. Oh, they lost to North Carolina and they got slaughtered. That was their last game out.
Yeah, I mean I think the game before that though, they didn't look good at all either. I actually like Louisville here to cover the spread in this one, but I think that over hits as well.
Yep. Well, Fulham's up 3-0. If you remember last week, they were one of my sneaky picks if you were going to put a futures on to win the championship. I think they definitely have a real good chance here. They're going to be 4 points back from the lead. And like I said, who's ever in first or second is definitely going to shit the bed. As you look at Leeds today, everyone's like, oh, there's going to be goals for Leeds. And yeah, it's 0-0. Leeds let me down. They let me down last year. So Fulham is one of my picks to basically win the championship and advance to the Premier League. Obviously, they've been there before, and they like scoring goals. So they're up 3-0. Definitely looking pretty good on that. What other things we got early? These lines are huge.
Yeah, so one of the games that I'm staying away from, but I was going to kind of just mention it, was Ole Miss at LSU. I hate Ole Miss and I hate LSU because I've been betting against LSU. They've been beating me, and I've been betting for Ole Miss to cover these spreads, and they've been screwing me. So now I have both of them in one game. But if I were to look at this game, and if there's anybody who's thinking of betting this, I think there's line value with Ole Miss, only because they've actually looked a little better their past 2 games. They lost their last game in OT to Auburn, and then LSU has won 9 straight, but their last 6 wins, well, they beat the hell out of Alabama last game. I think they beat them by over 15 points. But before that, all their wins were combined 15 points. So I think the Alabama win was an outlier, but Ole Miss is getting 12 points right now to cover. So I think, I would lean towards Ole Miss if anybody was looking at that game or if they wanted to get on it. But Ole Miss plus 12 would be a look. And if anybody else trying to cap it, if you want to start there. That's
Ole Miss plus 12. All right, so you're not believing this LSU team, despite every time. Isn't Ole Miss playing LSU?
Yeah, they both screwed.
Every single time we go against LSU, they basically turn around and they win by 18.
Yeah, but then every time I bet against LSU, they always get away with a win, the two between 2 and 4 points, and then every time I bet on Ole Miss to cover a spread, they lose that spread. So, but I wouldn't officially take Ole Miss. I'm probably going to stay away from that one. But if there was anybody who's watching this and they were thinking about that game, that's where I would lean, would be Ole Miss getting 12, just because they've actually looked a lot better their past 2-3 games that they've played. I stopped betting on them because they were costing me a month ago before that. And then I finally like looked at like the past 2 games, and I was like, damn it, I should have bet on them because they had covered the spread at that point. And then looking at another one, I think there's a 1:00 game. It's Michigan State at Wisconsin. There's no Brad Davidson for Wisconsin. I think he's on a 1-game suspension. I don't know if anybody saw that he punched an Iowa player in the balls in the last game. Did anybody see that? No? And Kobe King is off the team too, but Kobe King didn't play in the last game. But I'm leaning towards MSU, but this is a no play for me. I just don't trust Michigan State on the road. We've seen it was against Indiana. We've seen them in like these weird spots where they get these weird numbers of like 3 or 4 points, and they lost to Indiana as a 4-point favorite on the road. Wisconsin is coming off a 12-point blown lead at Iowa. They were actually winning that game, but then Iowa came back and ended up closing that game down. So this one is a no play for me, but if anybody's looking at that, I would bet MSU on the road.
We got a goal in Bournemouth. There's our first goal. Bournemouth tries to keep their form together. Gets an early 1-0 lead. Guys, I will tell you, this is going to be my shameful plug. Thanks again, our friends at Soccer24, for giving us live updates. If you're ever in a room in your house that's cold, the Dyson Hot Cool fan is the greatest thing ever. This thing, I'm in a room that like gets it was so cold I had to go get my sweater and my hat. I have now run this fan there. The entire room feels like I should be in shorts. This thing is the greatest thing ever invented. Does complete circulation air. I know it's a little pricey, but my wife bought me this a year ago for this game room, and this feels absolutely great. So if you keep watching me pull my sleeves up, pulling back my hat, it's because I'm now getting ready for beach weather here. So
it's a Dyson heated fan?
Yeah, it's called Dyson Hot and Cool. Yep.
How does that work?
It's got that big little circle thing that comes through, so there's no fan blades, and through the magic of coil technology, just heats up air molecules. But my son uses one in his room. There, because they're towards the back of the house. It's 2 places that we've had people out there. It just doesn't get enough circulation. And if you leave the door open, that room just gets cold. So he closes the door, and now he plays his video games in shorts and a t-shirt. But yeah, it's actually great. It's got a timer on the heater setting. It's got multiple settings where you could use the power on it. It's absolutely wonderful. So I definitely highly recommended it. Actually, that was kind of our Christmas present giveaway. My daughter had a roommate in South Carolina that was complaining about the temperature. And so instead of having a fight with the roommate, we just bought her one of those, and she can regulate whatever temperature she wants, hot or cool. She's good to go. Then my father-in-law is getting older, and we gave him one. So I definitely should be buying stock here in Dyson because I'm supporting it as much as possible. All right, so what we've got is first half Butler -3, Providence +7. Any other looks you're looking at today? We got
another early game I'm looking at is DePaul +7. They're at Marquette. I know they can I think DePaul's kind of out of in the beginning of this season everyone was jumping on their bandwagon. Because they were doing really good, and then they just fell off. They've gone 1-7 in conference. I think that's their record right now, and they still have a tough conference schedule. They have to play Creighton, they have to play Nova, Marquette again after playing Marquette today. They really need to, if they want to make the tournament, they really need to get back on track. So I don't think they're going to win here at Marquette, But I think, Marquette's coming off 2 back-to-back overtime games. And my only concern here is that DePaul's going to turn over the ball a lot. But if they don't, they should be able to cover the 7 because I look at this as like a similar game to when they went to Seton Hall. They covered that game because they can score on the inside. And against Marquette, they can do the same thing too. They could use the same game plan that they used against Seton Hall, and I think they're able to keep it within 7 points. But then again, DePaul has lost 7 of their last 8. They do have a size advantage over Marquette with Reeds and Butts on the inside, and that's where they're going to do a lot of their damage. So I do like DePaul plus 7 to cover that spread, but they're going to lose this game.
So you like them to cover, but you think they're going to lose. Good call on that Watford, Chef. We got another goal from Watford. That gives us a little breathing room. So that gives us up 2-0, so that looks good. Definitely good call. It's always nice to hit a live play. What are we looking at this Liverpool game, Chef? Is there anything yet to be able to get on?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt earlier during the college breakdown, but I took over 10 corners in the first half at 2.25, and I think they just hit 10, so we're at least looking at a push here.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got to win the rest of the regulation at minus 222. That's starting to get a little interesting. If that gets to about 1.7, I know that's pretty high, but I'll probably jump on that.
For Liverpool?
Yeah.
They had one up about 5 minutes ago for Liverpool to be winning at the 75-minute mark at 1.5. And right as I was taking that, it went off. Every now and then you catch these books sleeping.
Yeah, especially when it's harder to do in like Premier Leagues. It's easier to do like in the Swedish league.
They had last year. It was the last time I seen this play. They had it was in Champions League when Liverpool was playing Porto, and they had the same bet, Liverpool to be winning at 75 minutes, but they had it at 1.8. And I damn near emptied my freaking account on it, and it came through easily. And I was waiting for them to cancel, and they never canceled it. So, but it was in fact the last time I seen that play up until today. They haven't been posting that play since last year.
Bournemouth looks like they're about to get their second one. We're just going to wait for the offsides call. Now we can get a Villa goal, and we'll hit everything on that game right as rain.
I had pregame also. It's too late now, but I had pregame. I forgot to mention the over in Preston North End and Swansea, and they're already at 2 goals. So that'll be a nice one.
Yeah, that was interesting because Swansea let go one of their starters in the transfer window, and I was kind of shocked to kind of see they let Boston Borja go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had a ton of guys kind of moving in and out. But it was a guy who generally came in and played enough for them. But, yeah, experienced guy, moves up. Good move for him. They're just one of the hard teams. Everton's going to score here, make it 2-1 at the half. But at least we got that insurance goal. Still a lot of football left in that game.
Yeah.
Definitely still a lot of football left.
What do you think about this story about Barcelona offering $100 million for Richarlison, and they said no? And then it comes out that
why?
Then they ask they ask Ancelotti about it, and he's like, "That never happened. They never offered us money for Charleston."
Yeah, that seems to be a little bit fabricated. I mean, 100 million for Charleston.
I mean,
But Charleston's a good young player, but it's
Barcelona
100
doesn't
million?
even have any. Barcelona doesn't have 100 million euros for one. I mean, they're in dire straits right now with their situation. They need to do something with their management situation and president situation next year in the election.
Did you just hire a manager?
Yeah, but they're on the fence on him about him already. I mean, if Messi doesn't want you there, you're not going to be there. You know, and
Yeah,
when you come out and you lose to Valencia, that's going to raise some red flags already. I mean, he's already on the hot seat.
But you lost to Valencia because your third striker was a 19-year-old kid who's very, very talented, but he's still a 19-year-old kid. I was surprised they kept Fati. I thought they would have let him go in the transfer window, loan him out somewhere where he can get complete first-time action and be able to pick up a guy. Like Paco Alcacer would have worked perfectly fine for them. To be able to pick up, I do have a Barcelona future that I'm not too happy about, but I thought they would have went to the window and picked up some actual solid players, and they really didn't.
Did you hear about they had this kid from China coming over? I can't remember his name. I don't follow the China League too much, but they had him coming over, and they said, "Well, be close to Spain because it's the day before the deadline." They said, "If we get this deal done, we need you here to sign the deal because it's too close." So he's in midair on the plane, and they call him in midair and say, "Nah, never mind. Turn around. We don't want you no more."
Now, did that have to deal more with coronavirus?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, shit. But yeah,
we've got a couple people. I don't even know how this is going to work with 5 people. It won't let me do 5 people. Mr. Newentown keeps rejecting my stream. All right. Once again, the traveling salesman is definitely moving around right now. He's got some early looks. He was 2-1 last week. The man, the myth, the legend, Twatty Latte. How you doing, Twatty?
What's going on, boys? How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Definitely got some action in. We got one live play, a couple plays. Look good. Damn it, Everton scored twice in the extra time. So it's going to be 2-2 at half. So that's our one live play that just we're still pushing that. It's not over. All right. Twatty, what's your looks? What do you got going?
I don't really got shit. I just wanted to jump on for a minute and see how you boys are doing. I like West Virginia today in some way. I'm thinking like team total or something because they're 13-point favorites. I about shit my pants when I thought I was going to be able to jump on them at about 8 or 9 against Kansas State. I think they're like 13-point favorites.
Yeah, they're 13, 12 and a half right now. Yep.
They are a bunch of dogs at home, though. I mean, they may cover that. They're one of the best home teams I've seen all year. But I'm looking at their team total. I think if you can get anything below like 72 and a half, 72 to take that over and run with it. I know K-State plays some D, but I think that's probably going to be my play. And that's at I think that's at 2:00 or something today.
Yeah, the games. It's at 2:00. The one question I have is obviously K-State beat the crap out of them in K-State there. So
yeah, I don't care.
It was 68-84, but they still scored 68 points. So if we can get a team total of 71-72, yeah, I definitely could see West Virginia covering that pretty easily.
I think they're scoring about almost 75 points a game as a team, and at home they're just a completely different animal. So I do like West Virginia. I don't know about covering 13 or whatever the fuck it is. but the team total sounds really good.
Let me see what we can get on the team total. I've got several different.
I don't know if I like it much above 73 though. I think the implied team total was like 72.
Let me see what we've got. I've got Kansas State team total of 59, 72.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably put my money on that. Yeah. So we've been killing college basketball the last week. We got all the clients that are all profitable for the month. So it was a very good month. Very happy. So, but I'm still looking over the card. I was looking for a Pitt game. They play tomorrow. We're now 11-1 with Pitt. So I'll definitely have a pick for tomorrow for them.
Rich is sitting at 71.5, so I would like that. So, Rich, what book did you get the 71.5 at? So, always line shop.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're definitely going to be on Pitt tomorrow. That seems to be your there. We're just cashing, 8-1?
What's that?
What are we, 8-1 in the Pitt's last 9 or something like that? Some crazy number?
11-1. Yeah, we're 11-1 with the last 12 Pitt picks, and that's the way it is for baseball too. We'll kill the Pirates when they come out, but yeah, we're killing all. Actually, I was 3-0 on Pitt last game because I bought up to 143. They covered that. I got the 137. They covered that. Plus they covered the 16.5 spread. So I was really 3-0. So it's really 14-1 or 13-1. But anyway, that's enough of bragging. But what do you guys got in college basketball?
A couple things we liked was first half Butler -3.5, Providence +7. Rich leans Seton Hall -5. We were trying to figure out what to do with the Michigan State game. I actually took Michigan State in ACA. So I just took them on the money line. I think that'll win. I'll take that probably with the DePaul +7. That's enough time between those games to kind of have a clue of what's going on and feel pretty strong. With that, I mean, I haven't looked too much at the basketball card. I was kind of getting ready to kind of roll through that when we had some live action capabilities in soccer. Let me see what we've got.
Okay, yeah. No, and those all sound good. I really like Butler. Really like Butler a lot. They're definitely a solid team. Love their backcourt. But well, yeah, let's keep up the good work. I think you guys are killing it on Saturday mornings. What's the record, Sean?
I've sat it there. It's like 44 and 23 or 27, something like that. We're about 16, 17 units up for 3 shows. Not too bad.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. That's great work.
Yeah, we also got Gonzaga tonight. It's an early game too. It's 4:00, so it's not one of these things you can wait till the end of the day. So
Right.
they're playing the Dons.
Okay.
At the Dons. That's the one question. All our Gonzaga caches was at home. These games are starting to be away from home. Not that there's any question whether or not they'll win. It is any question essentially by how much they'll win.
Right, exactly.
You're actually getting a decent line, though. I mean, it's not terrible for playing the Dons. I mean,
What is it?
you're getting 10.5. It's not like the 18 that we got last week.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, I would like that under 10, but I mean, we're in the ballpark. Yeah.
Yep. Total's up a little bit. We're at 156. There, and the question I was looking, are the Dons going to score? Because we know Gonzaga's going to score. So that's not going to be any question of whether or not they're going to be able to put up points.
Yeah, I mean, you may want to look at their team total as well. I mean, they should be good for 80 in this fucking game.
All right, we got Dortmund in a PK. Marco Royce. Goal. The captain. 3-0. Come on, I need one more goal there.
I forgot to ask you. Did you address your issue this morning? I got off before I could hear.
I did not yet because we had everybody on. I will leave my parting shot with that.
Okay.
And it's not much of an issue. It's just I just want to make sure someone understands where I stand and what he can do and what he can't do. So yep. So
if I would love to add to it. I mean, he's just a little bitch, so I would love to add to that. So maybe I'll jump on a little later.
Yeah.
You have no, as mad as you are, I'm twice as mad. I mean, does he forget that he's on fucking air and he says whatever the fuck he wants?
I think he just has 100% no filter, and if you want me to address it now, I'll address it because I had my there. And basically, I was going to be basically this. For those of you who didn't know, basically, we all know came out and just basically said something blasphemous, attacked me against my family. And my point was going to be really sitting here. I don't mess with what weak-minded people think. What they want to say in words and names don't hurt me, but leave my family out of it. There's no reason to involve my wife or my kids or my daughter or anything there. You had a beef because you couldn't take a joke. I mean, that's completely hilarious. When everybody in the chat was actually laughing at the joke, it was basically sent to be no harm, no foul. But apparently you took that as a thing and you went on your tantrum and throwing your little baby tantrums. I'm not aware of that, anything like that. My show is 100% transparent. All our wins are our wins. Anybody wants to see it was there. There's more than room for everyone to be here. I have no ill will really towards almost anybody on that show. We've been on that show since the very beginning when it started, and there was 4 people. It was me and Yella, and basically Twatty. So as much as people think it was there, my own thing is I'm going to sit there and say, leave my family out of it. Don't sit there. You want to say names to me? I don't care. They're just names. It's got to be whatever it is. But you want to challenge me and say I'm not a good capper? That's fine. We'll do 64 games starting with the tournament. You pick each game. Everybody will have it. We'll see who wins at the end of 64. I'll beat you in your own sport, which is not even my favorite sport. Enough said, and I'm done.
I love it. That's exactly right. I mean, call him out in his own sport. And I'm not afraid to do it either. I mean, I'll go up against him in college basketball. I got fucking no issues with that. But yeah, I mean, he's behind the keyboard talking shit, and you're exactly right. He has no filter. And I'm surprised Jay lets him do it. I mean, if SBR was paying him, they wouldn't be letting him do it, but he's doing it for free. So
yeah.
That's probably
I don't want to spend a whole lot of show on that. It is. We've got our thing. They've got their thing. We've got the same people in both of the chats. It's there. There's good people in all the chats. I'm not going to sit there and go into a Twitter war or any of that crap like that. Because really, like I said, I had no ill will towards it, but someone wanted to take it to another level, and I didn't really appreciate that. They will show Bologna won. And they covered the over 2.5. So that's definitely good. So that was one of Chef Michael's plays.
Nice.
And this under 4.5 looks like an absolute lock for Liverpool, which it is every single week, which you should be taking that. And I know it's either Martin's or someone's play that they say on SBR. But Liverpool basically have such a good defense. If they win the game, 2-0, 2-1. They could set up shop and win it 1-0, which they have. They definitely have the ability to win close games. So everybody should be on Liverpool in the under 4.5. I can't get it. That's the only reason I'm not on it. Or I definitely would have gave that as a play. But let's shift gears, kind of towards basketball. Dortmund got another goal, so we've got 4 goals in there. We cashed the over 3.5. That's a personal bet. I know I didn't give it as a play because I couldn't possibly give out a play where we're going to score 4 goals. All right. Also, shifted goals. We've got our hockey expert Locke is getting ready to come on, giving us plays. I forgot to send him the link. That's the only reason he's not here right now.
Hey, Sean, I'll bounce out for Locke. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. Maybe I'll pop on a little later, but I just want to tell you guys you're doing great, all three of you, and so is Locke. So we'll get Locke on, give him some winners, give him to put out some winners, and then maybe I'll jump on later.
Thanks, Twatty.
All right, guys, great job. See you.
Yep,
Yeah.
pop on if you have any other looks later. Yep. All right, let's kind of look around there. We got into the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock basketball games. Got Gonzaga games, a 4 o'clock basketball game. That's I wonder why it's so early. Probably, like I said before, they're trying to put some games on so people can actually watch them and see kind of is there. Other than that, I'm half asleep watching the Gonzaga game. I make about the first half, and then I get enough to make a second half bet, and then I fall asleep. And I basically hope it's just a waking cash.
You're just watching one team just crap on another team. Not even like an entertaining game.
Yeah, it's funny because you're basically just watching like score. Yeah, I don't care, score. And that's one of the Gonzaga's favorite things. They could go to their backups and their bench goes in and they score goals. So, sir, welcome, Locke. Welcome, ready. We're out of the NHL All-Star game, so I assume we got some games today.
Yeah, we got first good card since the break finished. The whole scheduling this week has just been so shit with like normally your Tuesday, Thursdays have like between 10 and 14 games. And this week we had, I don't know, 2 or 3 on those days. And it's like a weird flux, you know, where the teams are sort of getting their feet back under them and stuff like that. So hopefully a better day today.
Yeah. Definitely kind of look. I'm gonna before you get into your picks. I know we just got out of the break. We've had trades and all that kind of stuff went down. Any future pick that you would advise to get on to win the Cup or to win the East or win the West?
Yeah, I took about 2 weeks ago. I took Pittsburgh Penguins to win it. I took the Bolts and I took the Blues. Those were my first futures. Now, I guess if you have to say, Adam, we just want one, I couldn't tell you. I like them all for different reasons, but I put 2 units on each of them. They were all between, I think, about plus 900 and plus 1,500. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And I put 2 units on all of them because these are sort of my foundation futures where I expect 2, if not all of them, to be in like the conference finals and provide lots of hedge opportunities along the way against a team that might just get hot that you wouldn't have expected, where it just allows me a little bit more mobility going down the line. So, so I thought I got them. I mean, they're all going to be in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. I think they're all a few games away from clinching a spot here. So, those were mine. Anybody else got a take on NHL futures?
Anybody in the chat? I still look at the Caps. I think that they've had a pretty solid year to be able to. They're going to make the playoffs again. Not there. I mean, you're still getting the only issue is obviously it's going to be them and the Pens, who have a history which they lose to the Pens. So, but obviously they're in first place. So I mean, you're not getting as great as a number on that. The one team I kind of like just because of their youth wise, and I would only pick them to basically win the Atlantic, which would be win the East, would be a small take on the Florida Panthers.
Interesting. Yeah, the Panthers under Quenneville they looked really, really good coming into that stretch before the All-Star break. I mean, today we'll get our first look at them against the Habs. I am on Montreal today, but they certainly surged up there. And this is the time when you say, you know, the good teams come to play. I think you probably got a decent number on that because I think they're pretty much off everybody's radar still, given like they're not in, you know, the media hotbed, right? So the NHL media hotbed where you say that it's all those original 6 teams, East Coast, Ontario, that kind of area. Florida teams are often over, other than Tampa being fantastic. Florida is never really on anybody's radar to take a division or to to make it far in the playoffs. I mean, they haven't done it in so long, but I think with the offense rolling pretty well, if Bobrovsky can play a little bit like he did a few years ago, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a chance there. There's a couple celebrations if you guys watched. Liverpool finally got on the board. So they're up 1-0. If you didn't see, Dortmund obviously on the bottom right there got on the board as well. Yeah, I just look at that team. I see a lot of young studs. I see Barkov. You see Uberdansk. And I think in the right take, that's the one thing with the NHL playoffs. With futures, you can get great money, even for teams that are in first place, in second place, who should be, okay, they're the odds-on favorite, where in other sports, like they'd be like minus 150. You can still get them at like plus 200, plus 300. And the reason why is because hockey's a little bit of a crapshoot.
It 100% is. There was an article I read a few years back on how hockey is the most random sport of the professional sports. Like, when people say, oh, the results are so random, I don't know how to bet on hockey. When we talk about lucky bounces in hockey, that's a literal thing. Pucks are just bouncing off players, bouncing off the ice from, the red line in the middle of the ice, deflections off people's face, goalies being screened and, knocking the puck in off themselves. Bounces are like, it creates a huge variation of results. No, you're absolutely right about that being part of the game. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. What do we like today? What should the guys put their money on so we know what we're going to play out here today?
All right, so let's start with I just finished the play of the day show, and I gave out mini money line. I don't want to ramble on about that just because you can go and read my article or whatever about that. But Minnesota's hosting the Bruins today. Bruins came off a very physical, I guess, just a grinding game against the Jets last night. Everybody was fighting. After every whistle, there was scraps. Guys like Marchand and Ehlers dropping the gloves. It was just a very intense game. And coming in, Minnesota's been off for over a week, and sometimes that leads to like a sluggish opening frame. But given the importance of Mini needing every fucking win from here on out, I just expect them to compete. And Mini lost in overtime to the Bruins earlier this season, 5-4. They had a 2-goal lead headed into the third. They can play against Boston. Don't get in the head. Boston is too good at every area of the ice. They are a more well-rounded team, but value 100% with Mini. So that was play of the day. Other than that, I took a number of things last night that I tweeted out, and I'm just going to go over the money line plays at the moment rather than the puck line plays. So I'm on the Jackets money line against the Sabres. That number I grabbed at minus 108 or something. Oh, is everybody still here?
Yeah. Are you?
I'm still here.
I guess Sean got knocked out.
Okay, we're good. All right. So yeah, I took the Jackets last night, and Buffalo has been one of those teams out of the All-Star break that just looked like shit. A number of colleagues in our Discord commented on it. And so until we see their numbers start to improve at this kind of a number, this price, I love the Jackets number. So that was a quick one for me. I'm also on Vancouver money line. Vancouver is just hot right now. We got them at plus 122. And it's kind of been around there. I think it's like plus 120 right now. Still, they're heading into Long Island. Islanders are a good team, good defense overall, I guess. But Vancouver is just rolling, and so I think I had this at like a 45-55 in favor of the Islanders. But that puts the value with the Canucks. What else am I on? Montreal. So I took Montreal against the Panthers today. Again, it's about the teams that have just sort of come out with a bit of they've got a bit of skating under them from the All-Star break. It's only a week off, but it can make enough of a difference early on in a game that you fall behind too early. And so the Habs got some players back recently. They've been playing a little bit more sound on the defensive end. and well, at least they did against Buffalo, but Buffalo was shit. No, I like the price on Montreal and Florida. We just got to see them if they continue to roll, but they got a nice slight dog number on the road here, so I don't blame anyone for taking them either. I'm also on Chicago Moneyline. I took them at plus 142 last night. It's down to about plus 130, plus 125 on the board now. They're heading into Arizona, and Arizona has just looked like garbage in their first couple of games against the Ducks and Kings. And I don't want to say garbage, meaning they can't win, but they're not justified for the price, and that's why I'm saying, the values with the Hawks team. I think this game was at like a 52-48 in favor of the Yotes, but yeah, 53-47. So again, just value on a Hawks team that they were looking okay before the break. Maybe they come into tonight slow with their legs, but the price isn't justified on them. They can beat the Yotes given what we've seen. And then anything else? No, that's all the money line plays I've taken so far. Oh, and I've taken the Jackets, Sabres over 5.5. I got that at plus 109 yesterday, and the number now. Let's see. Yeah, still there. Still on the board. You can even get it plus 114 at Pinnacle.
So I know I lost you there for like 10 seconds, but I've got Columbus money line, Vancouver money line, Montreal money line, and Hawks money line, and the over 5.5.
That's all I've taken so far, yeah. But I'll post my full card in Twatty's Discord there, and yeah, I'm high volume, so there'll be
that's all right. It's the only way I like to live.
More
so
picks.
I have no issue. Yeah. It is that interesting. I do tell people when they first get to the Discord, I think we have one guy who was there lasted a week. He took everything. I don't know how in the world he was down because everything was up in all the sports. But he came back and he's like, "Oh, I got to be gone for a couple weeks because."
Do you know what? Do you know what? One of the guys yesterday, Swag posted, early, and I'm not mentioning him to, call him out or anything. He was on a heater last night. He had like 5 straight winners or something, and he hit a winner in hockey, and he hit 4 NBA or whatever live bets, and then he wrote 4 hours later, gonna have to take a break because again, it's about that bankroll management. Whether you're winning or losing, it just takes you getting a little bit too confident or cocky or whatever it is to all of a sudden put your bankroll in jeopardy. And yeah, like again, he could have followed all of the winning plays, but he put more on or put a bad parlay on maybe a couple of the losing plays, Sean, and that's all it does to do you in.
Yeah, it definitely that's all it'll take. It's like my buddy last night was like, so we kind of share a book, and he on one of my books, and he's like, all right, well, here, throw. All right. There's no way the Bucks are losing. That's what he told me to start the day. And
the Lakers could never possibly lose on Kobe night, right? Like it's that line of thinking that motivation is so much of a factor. I mean, I don't want to belittle it because I do talk about motivation in my articles sometimes. Yes, you can look at things like this team is such, they're outskilling the opponent in every area of this. I mean, football is a perfect example. Soccer, I mean. Because, you say, okay, how could Man City lose to Norwich or something, and Man City's lost 2 games where the dog is plus 2,500, this season. And you just say, how the fuck does this ever happen? These anomalies are what keeps us interested in sports, is because it's unpredictable. So you have to accept that nothing is a fucking lock.
Correct. That's why I know your name is Locke. But
no,
it is. Everyone does come out as like, that's a lock, and I'm like, yeah, you have 47 locks. Why are you working?
So I've been in betting discords for a couple years now. I think about going on about 2.5 years, and I didn't even hesitate to put that as my name, my alias, when I joined the first Discord, and it's just stayed with me because I hear it so often that I was like, this is what everybody wants to talk about.
Such a good capper alias to have.
Yeah, like I put it as like an ironic thing because even at that time, I was just like, yeah, I just, I completely agree with you guys there. But Yeah. So, what do you guys got on for the Super Bowl? I haven't checked out football chat in the Discord for a bit. You on a side for that one?
49ers money line.
49ers.
Sorry,
yeah.
T-Money.
My personal thing is Kansas City -1. And here's the
Okay.
way. And I spelled out exactly on the Discord how I think
Yeah.
the game could go either way. For the Niners to win, they need to basically always score first. And then they
need to score first.
Then they either that or there needs to be Kansas City nerves stuff kind of start to pow in, and maybe you get a like a drop ball, a key penalty, any of those things, which will stop the Kansas City drive before they could start to kind of get momentum. But I think the key for San Francisco is easier. They're going to run the ball. If they have success running the ball and keep Mahomes off the field, then the pressure is going to mount on Kansas City to make a play. The issues I have with San Francisco is really this. I think Kansas City is going to move the ball easily. I think the issue essentially, the reason why is because San Francisco is going to play zone. They're going to play zone, rush 4. They're not going to blitz that much. Liverpool just got the second. They're not going to play zone. Real Madrid also just
goal.
Scored.
Right? Isn't that what we're supposed to shout? Goal.
Well, sometimes I'll shout it. I'll go goal. I think Kansas City's defense is an improving spot but I think basically with San Francisco playing zone, Mahomes will be able to pick them apart. The question is, can they score? Can they get inside after the 20? Can they run the ball that much? It's there. And can you stop the run? And that's why I would think if San Francisco gets up first, they can just pound them, run, hit in some Deebo Samuel plays, things of that nature, and be able to live and say, okay, we're just waiting for you to make a mistake. And then as soon as you do, you're not going to be able to stop our run, and we're going to go down and score. I have the game about 28-24. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I think it's going to be a very close game all the way to the end. I don't believe in the Madden side where one team's going to win by 14, 17 points. But it's definitely going to be dependent. But I don't see San Francisco cannot man up versus Kansas City. Richard Sherman, as good as he is, every single wide receiver on the other side of the ball will burn Richard Sherman on any go route. And it'll only take 2 times essentially to run Tyreek Hill long on one side, which will occupy the safety, run Sammy Watkins on the other side on a deep post, and he can't cover him.
Okay.
And they're going to keep everything in front of them. They're going to rely on that pass rush. If that pass rush gets home, they could make this. They could, if that pass rush gets home quite easily, they're going to win easily.
Yeah.
On both sides, you missed it when it said I've got a bunch of parlays closing each way, so I'm making money no matter what happens.
Oh, nice.
Or on Kansas City. Yes.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I haven't made a play yet. I knew that this line was going to just stay close all week. It's like Rich said. He said KC will never be out of the game. It'll be close regardless of who wins. Completely agree with that. And I mean, because you look, the only time in my memory is a betting adult that I remember a blowout in a game that wasn't expected to be. It was that Seattle-Denver, I think it was, right? Where they just came out and beat them by 40 points. I don't remember the final score at all, but it was. That was the one game, wasn't it, where it was like everybody was expecting it to be. I think it was again the spread under 3, and it just ended up being a complete blowout. And I think, but otherwise, I think it's a very interesting one. I think we got the 2 best teams this season here, arguably with Baltimore, being the one team with the letdown. But I think one of these teams should have been in the Super Bowl. So it's cool that they're both there. But I appreciate the insight, man. And I'll post the rest of my hockey stuff in the Discord later today.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on, Luck.
Yeah. Good luck with the soccer stuff, guys, and the college basketball and all that stuff. And I'll chat with you guys soon. Bye.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye.
All right, we're going to finish up right before 11:30, 12 o'clock here. Liverpool got that second goal. They're covering, but Southampton's challenging right here. Try to make this 2-1. That's not what Chef wants to see. He doesn't want to see anything close to 3 or 4. Chef, you're muted.
Oh, no, I was just saying that Cash that Bologna and both teams to score at 3.75 or plus 275, however you're looking at it. So that was a good hit.
Yeah, the Leverkusen's going to let us down. They picked up a red card, so they're going to stop. We'll push on the over 3, unfortunately. Hoffenheim's been a very interesting team. I mean, you get a manager change, and all of a sudden they look like an actual solid squad. 2 wins in their last. I mean, as I pulled them out of relegate, yeah, they're up there. Yeah, I mean, they're knocking on the door of a Europa League spot, especially with Schalke not getting any points last time. Dusseldorf and Eintracht Frankfurt was a really shocker. You thought that Eintracht would come back just like the Eintracht you saw last week, that basically was able to handle a good RB Leipzig team, comes back and basically are going to draw versus Dusseldorf. Come on. Bundesliga always kicks me in the ass. And I know your thing. You're like, I don't even bet the Germany league.
I haven't. I really haven't all season. It's been a good thing for my pocket too, because that's a, as Flash puts it every week, a minefield on the show.
Oh, and then it's even worse. The Eintracht goal was removed for offsides.
At the beginning of the season, I had to. You got to wonder where the Eintracht goals were going to come from. I mean, they got rid of Rebic, they got rid of Haller. You know.
Yeah, I called them toothless, but that's why the 2-0 versus Leipzig. I thought, okay, we're going to come through. We're over the break. We've got some things together. I mean, there's some talent in there that you have. You made a couple transfers. You benefited the squad a little. Maybe they'll come out and be able to play and be able to booster them up and come out. I mean, Rodi was one big Swedish transfer. You thought he'd come out and be able to play well. Pacienza, I don't count on him to score consistently enough. And I will say it's kind of they were toothless. They basically end up drawing 1-1. That goal did count.
I had Eintracht on the Europa League show back in the qualifiers group stage, I think it was maybe. And it was Eintracht team total over 1.5 against Arsenal. And you would think if someone's going to score at least 2 goals on an Arsenal back line, it's going to be Eintracht Frankfurt. And Arsenal kept a clean sheet, and at that point, it was like, okay, I'm not touching Eintracht. You can't depend on them to do anything.
Arsenal keeping a clean sheet, isn't that an oxymoron?
Right. I mean,
yeah.
In Germany, no less. It was the most insane thing I saw in those qualifying stages. It was insane.
That can't be true. No. It's my thing said West Brom was only played 19 minutes in.
Oh God, you got to watch sometimes on these live lines. They'll be reporting one thing and it's the complete opposite. Yeah,
that's why. Well, I benefited from that last week. There was in the Clippers game. It was the total was low, and then it was like they went on like 25 points in like the last 3 minutes, and the guys in the chat were messing with me because I was like, I'm pounding this. They're like, how do you get that? That's just like free money. And yeah. But yeah, you still could get burned even when you think it's free money. Leeds is losing. Like I said, who's ever in first in the championship league never wants to win. You go to last place Wigan. You go sit there. You're at home. Well, actually, they're not last place. They're third to last. Sorry. And you come back and you're losing 1-0 at home. That's a game that you win. Those are points you have to receive. Rangers and Aberdeen are still at 0-0. Battle for second place there in that division. If the Rangers lose that, Celtic walks away with that division. Not even close. That was my son actually waking up for the first time, who's been sick for the last couple days. So, Fulham is battled down where they were up 3-0. Now it's 3-2. What do we like here? I'm looking at this Leeds, trying to see. Actually, I'm going to take this. You guys can tell me if I want. This will be an official play. We're going to take Leeds money line, draw no bet, plus 195. The reason I'm taking it, I think Leeds scores here. They've got it's still plenty of time for them to get 2, but I think they'll get at least 1. So I think this is just a free trial here. So I'm going to take that Leeds money line, draw no bet.
Yeah, I didn't like too much in the championship this weekend.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't a lot. I mean, Fulham was the only one I like. I've got them in an ACA. I've got Luton in my shoot for the moon shot there, which we had a goal disallowed, unfortunately. This Leipzig Mönchengladbach game. If Klosterman doesn't play, do you lean Mönchengladbach?
I think you'd have to. I mean, with the way they've been playing.
I mean, you've got a battle for basically first or second place. I mean, Mönchengladbach with a win here would go into second place. With Bayern's win today, they take over the lead spot, depending obviously what Leipzig does. But yeah, I definitely think that's a chance play here. PSG is going to about stomp on Montpellier in 2 more minutes. They're running a lineup with Neymar and Mbappe up top. So
PSG is probably the deadliest team in Champions League right now that I'd be worried about for Liverpool.
the third for Liverpool. Salah again. West Brom scored again too, unfortunately. So our hope of a switch is not going to be there. Yeah, I think PSG, once you get everybody on board, which they seem to have gotten Neymar back on board, then that's basically they're the ones to be worried about. They're the ones that you just literally go out and just pound anybody if they wanted to. Also, a little kind of thing you saw, we get the Aston Villa finally takes advantage of the red card. So the over 2.5 cashes, the both teams to score cashes. That's how we do it. Good play there. Double win. Got to like that a lot.
Sean, I was going to throw out a couple just for the chat, like if anybody's leaning on any of these games, just like 2 or 3 looks.
Yeah, no problem.
The first one was Michigan at Rutgers, playing this one at Madison Square Garden. So Xavier Simpson is back for Michigan. They had that win over Nebraska. Rutgers is undefeated at home, but that's at the rack. But away from home, which MSG is, they're 1-5. And then Isaiah Livers might play. I think he's a game-time decision today. If he does, Michigan's definitely going to blow them out by double digits. But if not, I like Michigan to win this at Madison Square Garden because I think Rutgers will have some regression right now to where they are. So I lean Michigan -1. I think that's what the line is there. I also like Kentucky.
Michigan -1?
Yeah.
It's only 1?
It's only 1.
What time's that game?
I think that's at, let's see here. That's at 4:30 p.m.
Okay, I like that.
The other one I like is I actually like Kentucky at Auburn today. I think Kentucky has a big size advantage over Auburn. and Auburn allows a lot of points on the inside, and that's where Kentucky is like that's their bread and butter. So I think they just have the size advantage. They're able to get on the inside, put up a lot of points. They're getting +3 on the road in Auburn, and like I said, I still don't think this Auburn team is. I think at the end of the SEC, it'll be Kentucky who will be the top team. So I like Kentucky getting 3 points on the road in Auburn.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. I also like the Florida State over Virginia Tech. I think Tech has shown that they just suck.
Yeah, I mean FSU dominates the glass. Like they're coming off that Virginia loss, so I like that look too. I like Florida State there.
Yep. So I'm gonna make that official play for me. I'll take FSU -3.
And the other game, I really hate going against my Ducks. I love the Ducks, but this is like Stanford has lost 3 in a row. Now they're at home. Oregon is off 4 straight wins, and 2 of them were in overtime where they barely pulled it out. And Oregon's big liability is the 3-point shot, defensively at least. And Stanford could shoot the 3. So I think Oregon is kind of due a loss here. It's only a 2-point line, which, those Pac-12 games, they can go like any way. But after 2 overtime wins, Oregon was like, they've been barely able to close out games. I think going into Stanford, Stanford has those 3 losses. They need a bounce back win here at home. I like Stanford +2. Still haven't pulled the trigger on it, but that's where I'm leaning.
Stanford +2.
Yeah.
Did Stanford win or lose their last game?
They lost that one. I think it's one of those situational spots where Stanford has lost 3 in a row, and now they're back home, and Oregon's won 4 straight, but they haven't won them. Like, they haven't dominated necessarily any team because 2 of those wins came in overtime. So I think this is going to be a lot closer game, and Stanford will be able to pull out the win, having the home court advantage. And I think Oregon's just due for a loss. They've had 4 wins in a row.
4 wins in a row.
Man, market doesn't keep going up, man. There has to be a dip at some point.
Yeah, definitely. That Leverkusen loss kind of hurts. If you didn't see, Everton got red, so we still could be alive here.
I can't believe Watford let them in that game at the last minute of the half.
Yeah, it's 2 goals in 5 minutes. That's really just alarming. I'm waiting here to see if I can see a lineup here for Mönchengladbach. Still not released. What's the other thing I was looking at? Yeah, I think this first half Seton Hall is done. I think they might lose by 25. We're not on Oklahoma today?
Oklahoma at home. I was actually looking at that game against Oklahoma State. That's like Oklahoma State sucks. They're so bad.
Yep.
And have bet on them. I think I bet on them last week or something. I knew I shouldn't have, but I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But they are really, really bad. I don't know what the line is though. Do you have that in front of you or no?
5.5.
Oh yeah, then all day Oklahoma at home 5.5 over Oklahoma State. I like that.
All right, that's at 3:00. I like that. Okay. We're not going with Baylor's 11.5.
That one is like that's again, man. I can't. I faded Baylor for like those There's like those 2 or 3 games that I faded them, and they just like shoved it in my face. This is TCU. Like they lost to Texas at home last week. Like, that was real bad. And Texas is bad. They're not a good team at all. I don't know. I just don't. This kind of like a stay away from me. I don't think TCU covers that spread. But I guess because if you watch Baylor last week against Iowa State, Baylor didn't shoot the ball at all, well at all. But they are like they're the best like rebounding team in the nation though, and I think that's where they're going to own TCU. So they're gonna. That point spread, that 11-12 is like too much for me, but I would probably lean Baylor covering that. I don't think TCU is really come close to them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's kind of the same thing. Trying to figure out whether I should get on the Zags first half -5.5. I don't know.
And then the Texas Tech Kansas game is also an interesting one. I think, Kansas has a huge size advantage over Texas Tech, and they're good at like controlling the speed of the game. But we saw a bounce back from Texas Tech on Wednesday. They'd be in West Virginia, right? I think, yeah. I think they'd be in West Virginia. And I think it was Kansas. They faced Oklahoma State. They were 7.5 favorite at Oklahoma State. And I don't know if they covered that before. Just kind of going off the top of my head, just looking at this. But I think Kansas, the one thing that they're really bad at is free throw shooting. They are actually like bottom in the NCAA in free throw shooting. So I kind of like Texas Tech at that +9. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it, but I lean Texas Tech to cover because I think at the end of the game, if this is like a 10-point, anywhere between 12 to 7 or 8 point game, Texas Tech's going to execute their free throws and Kansas is going to miss it. So they'll allow Texas Tech to get back into it, and I think Texas Tech can cover that.
So you like the 8.5? Yep.
Yeah. And free throws are huge. Like if you can, as a team, make free throws and you're like in the bottom, it's just, closing out games is tough.
They still have the guy suspended, right? I know the one guy suspended for the year, but the other guy is still suspended, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Do we believe in North Carolina? They're a 12-point favorite after magically somehow beating NC State and beat the worst-looking Miami team that I've ever seen on the floor. They played with 6 scholarship players.
They lost to, didn't they lose to like Clemson, but then they won their next 2 games?
They lost. So they lost to Georgia Tech. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to Clemson. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to Tech.
Jeez. Then
they beat Miami. Then they beat NC State. And now all of a sudden they're 12-point favorites for Boston College.
That's crazy. That's an overreaction to the win at NC State.
But, they looked good. Now, granted, they had some guys out for some of those earlier games that they lost. I think 12 is too many, but I was looking at the over.
Yeah, I could see that game going over.
Boston College likes to score. Carolina's going to run up and down and chuck shots. With Pierce and Robinson back, you'd be able to hit gives them the ability to hit outside. You got Baycock inside. It's interesting, though. In the blowouts, they're running Baycock still in those games at the end. It's him and like 4 walk-ons who are getting water.
Wow.
And it's funny because they all go down to Baycock, and you're like, really? The other team is mentioned the bench, and you go to a 4-star kid, and you're just basically going to keep feeding him. You're using him as a pivot. That's fine, but you got to divvy up the ball. Southampton's going to score here.
Somebody's saying Seton Hall's getting their butt whooped.
Oh, it's not even close. Seton Hall basically said we no longer want any 11 o'clock games ever. They can't make a shot. They're all asleep. It's 33-18.
Jeez.
They can't everything. I'm going to take a shot at this over 141. I'm going to take Zags first half minus 5.5. I think that's the best line you're going to get in that game. So I'm going to make that official play. So my second thing is Zags, my first half minus 5.5. Let me add those to the banner. Any last second looks? Anything, Chef, you're looking at? We really should look at Liverpool. That would have just been free money.
Yeah. Lineup just came out for United and Wolves. Just checking that out, seeing if I want to take another position on that.
What is the lineup? So we got Martial up top. We got James, Mata, and Piera. They've been running this lineup for a while. Bruno Fernandes makes his Premier League debut for United. Fernandes basically was a sporting Lisbon player in the Portugal League. Very talented player. A lot of people wanted him. Very interesting that United was able to pull off that cue. Jimenez starts, but I don't like Diego Jota playing. I had him on my fantasy team forever, and it was like, he's going to be great. No, he sucks. I actually like better when Pedro Neto plays. I think he is showing huge promise for Wolves. Kind of the Wolves' future, knowing their luck, they'll probably sell him right before he becomes a star. I think Adama Traore is going to run Luke Shaw to death.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very interesting matchup. Too much speed on the wing. Mönchengladbach, we have a lineup as well. Tyler Adams gets to play for Leipzig here. His third straight game playing, so he will start. That's an American defenseman. Klosterman is going to play. Timo Werner up top, of course. Play if you have anytime goal scorer. Timo Werner is probably definitely going to score in this game. What I like to look at and see, my favorite Mönchengladbach player is not playing, Briel Ambalo. He is on the reserves. Fabian Johnson is also on the reserves, another American. But Playa is playing, Thuram's playing, and Zakaria is playing. Interesting. He's played the last two games. He's got all kinds of speed. No idea what to do with it, but he's got all kinds of speed. Rangers, Aberdeen still at 0-0. They're going to really piss me off. Come on, Watford. You have to score versus 10 men. Sorry, you just have to score versus 10 men. There's a rule. All right. Looking down the card, anything else I like? I'm probably going to take a – I thought Klosterman was going to be out. That was the one thing I'm worried about. I think he's the straw that stirs the drink here for Leipzig, and when he plays, it gives him another attacking option, too, that can shoot from long range. Head-to-head series at home. Leipzig has won the last 4 meetings. They're at home. They won 1, drew 2, but those 2 draws were years ago. That's a tough choice here. All right, last 15 minutes. Let's kind of look at what we have. We talked about Rutgers there. We've got a kid coming in for Liverpool.
I don't like Adam Lallana. This guy just always looks lost every time he's on the pitch.
Who was he on before Liverpool? Wasn't he on like Everton or something like that?
He was. I don't remember. Well, he's been on Liverpool for a while, so
he's been on there forever.
He's been there for at least 4 years.
I'd have to look. Sean, one more thing I wanted to talk. Duke Syracuse. PSG scored, so unless you got on the PSG minus 2.5, which is the only purposeful thing to actually get on in that game, and that was just worth like a half unit play. They're up 1-0. Duke Syracuse, small line, 6.5 points.
Yeah, I had this one at 7.5. So, I mean, I think at 6.5, it's no play. Maybe if it was like 5 or 5.5, I would have played it. I don't see any value, but I think Wendell Moore is supposed to be back for Duke. And Syracuse has actually been playing well. They've been shooting the ball well. But I think the difference maker here is going to be Trey Jones. I think Duke wins this, but it's going to be a lot closer game. 6.5 is – I prefer anything under 6 on that one, but I don't know if
So
that
if we
line
can
is
get a live early action, anything under 6, you'd endorse that play.
Yep.
Oh, come on, Rangers. Oh, come on. Let me put it this way. The Rangers at 0-0. They have 15 shots on goal. They have 15 shot attempts. 5 have been on goal. They've had 10 corners versus Aberdeen has 1 corner, 4 attempts, 2 shots on goal, and you can't score. Dangerous attacks is 68 to 28. 115 regular attacks for 68. The Rangers have dominated this game. They just can't put a ball in the net. Oh, it's killing me. So you've been there. What about the total? 147 for Syracuse game? Oh, uh-oh. It's almost ass clinching time there, Chef. You got the 4th Liverpool goal. And Southampton's been on the doorstep twice in the last 10 seconds. Oh. They are just feeding the crap at them. It's sad that we at 0-0 did not want to take a minus 222. Yep.
Minus 222 is some heavy juice there.
It is. I'm trying to look at the other stuff. Jack
You were
Rabbit.
saying I think I like the over in that. I think Duke's tempo overrides like any defensive looks that like Syracuse tries to play.
Yeah, it's gonna be how well can you shoot from the outside. That's gonna be the question. Got a very good late game in BYU St. Mary's. That should be a very interesting game.
I like BYU minus 5.5 in that one. That's a play of mine that I'm definitely.
And then we've got Utah State in the Aztecs.
I like Utah State 7.5. I think that's what the line is right now, right?
Yeah, it's 7. Dropped a half.
I dropped a half, yeah. I actually like Utah State. I think they're playing a lot better. It's also a rematch game for them. When San Diego went into Utah State and won, I think someone's gonna. Who's this guy? Nate Mentz or something? He's for San Diego State. I know he's out, but he was out against their other game too, in their other game too against Utah State. But San Diego State actually, they foul quite often. They let you get to the free throw line. They did beat UNLV. I think that was their last game that they played, but they didn't cover the spread there. I just think that their lines are a little overinflated because they're undefeated. I think Utah State would. I think 7 is still good, but anything less than that, I would not take, unless it's like live and you can get it like anything above 7. But I like Utah State to cover the spread and maybe even win. I don't know how long San Diego State's going to stay undefeated. This could be a good opportunity here for them to lose. But I definitely like Utah State to cover 7 and above.
Now, do we take Andy Enfield and his only 4 lost USC Trojans, which somehow are not ranked, versus Colorado here? They're 9-1 at home. You got a 1-point line.
Who's at home?
USC.
USC's at home against Colorado. Man, these Pac-12 games, they're so unpredictable.
They are, but they're playing good defense. Colorado got completely obliterated on the glass by UCLA in midweek. They're looking for a signature win. I can't believe a team with 17 wins and 4 losses. Oh, Liverpool almost scored again. Is not ranked. but you have a 16-5 Colorado team. That is.
Everton just scored again.
Yeah, Everton scored again with 10 men. By the way, just to let you know, in the they suck category, West Ham was up 3-0. They're going to draw 3-3.
Yeah,
Watford was up 2-0. They're going to lose 2-3 with 10 men. Sorry, Sean.
No, go on. I mean,
Yeah, I can't believe Newcastle. That's the one thing where I tried to put a draw, no bet. Didn't get a good enough line on that. They're going to completely go 0-0 versus Norwich. Liverpool's done. You cashed that bet. Good job. The under 4.5 in Liverpool, which should be an auto play bet for the rest of the year versus every team in the league, is definitely there. It's basically just a way. What number did you get on that?
1.77.
That's nice. That is absolutely nice to get a 1.77 on basically an outcome you pretty much knew was going to happen, except for the 4.5 would have been the only chance.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 1.74.
Bournemouth wins, so their money line cashes. The both teams to score cash, the over 2.5 cash. I've got to decide on something that I've got live, so we'll have to look at that. There we have West Brom wins 2-0, not surprising. And, of course, Millwall, who could score 400 goals last week, can't score this week. Hibernian, so their Real Madrid wins 1-0. Like I said, Atletico Madrid, toothless when Joao Felix doesn't play. I thought that was going to be a huge win for Real, especially at the top of the table. Rangers, Aberdeen, it looks like the refs are trying to go. We're playing until someone scores. We're on the 7th minute of extra time. There was a game. What was the game on Wednesday that had 10 minutes of extra time and we won in the 10th minute? On Friday, Rennes, Stadio Rennes, won on the 10th minute of extra time. Rangers, Aberdeen ties 0-0. They finally call it. So the Scottish parlay loses again. Sheffield United wins. Newcastle Norwich is going to probably end 0-0. Newcastle's had a couple good chances in this game, just can't finish it. They had 20. There's 35 shot attempts, 10 on goal, and neither team could score. It's not something you see every day. We got Leipzig, Montclair. I know I didn't give this out because the line's kind of high, but I love Roma money line today.
Roma?
Yep.
What did you get it at?
I took it earlier in the week, like way early. But I looked at it last time. I have it minus 117. I thought it was too high when I checked last time to be able to actually get it, to give it as a play. But I think actually, it's not too bad. It's 128.
Yeah, I got it at 1.84, I think.
Yeah, it's not bad. I would definitely like that. I like the Roma money line. So, my thing was Bologna money line, Parma, draw, no bet, and Roma was actually my Serie A ACCA. And then I had Roma closing with a bunch of basketball plays, so it closes one thing. So I also have Astra money line. So to relook at the game, what my ticker is Leverkusen money line. That loses. Leverkusen over 3, pushes Bournemouth over 2.5. Both teams to score. That gives us 2-1. Real Madrid cashes. That gives us 3-1. Newcastle lost. That gives us 3-2. So 2 plays left. Valencia money line. Young Boys money line. Have the chase. Everton closes out, wins the game. So we lose our live Watford money line play. It's all right. We'll get them back. Personally, like I said, I'm on Wolves money line. I think that's too muty. I still don't think this Manchester United team can score. Wouldn't be shocked at a draw either. If you're not feeling as there, take the Wolves draw double chance at minus 140. That's a better bet. Holy cow. Oh, boy. Time to get on it now. Montpellier just picked up a red card. What number of goals does PSG want to score here? They don't give up. I'm going to look at what we got live here.
They just took it off the board.
Yeah.
It was at -4. It'll probably open back up at 5.5. Oh no, it came back on at 4.
I'll definitely take it at 4. They're not going to stop scoring. They are literally going to just run up the score here. And then PSG, there, I see it 5.5 in my terrible book.
Yeah, that's what
Leeds loses. Like I said, the championship curse is in full effect. If you're in first place, you never win any game that you should win. But West Brom does win. They take over first place now. Fulham, if they can hang on here for about 30 more seconds, they will slide into third place here. Anything else in the French league that you like? Paris.
No.
Oh, that's why it's 5.5 because PSG scored again. So I was saying the over 4, I would take it. I can't say it's an official play because I couldn't actually take it. Oh, wait, yeah, I can't because it's being lagging. Come on. Don't you love it when it's just like spinning and you're like, is it going to go place? Is it going to go? Is it going to go?
Yeah, I still have 4.
Yes, it took it. Well, they took the offside was the call. That's probably why they allowed it. Oh, all right. Well, good show. We're going to end it right here. We've got some plays for some guys to make. Hopefully like I said, we're 3-2 in soccer, 2 to play. We could end up with a pretty nice day. I was there. So hopefully you tailed some of those plays. Hopefully you took the winners, not the loser. But unfortunately, those things happen. But we still got 2 to play, and I like the other 2. So hopefully we'll end up with the day of 5-2. Rio Avenue, stupid idiots, cost me my back-to-back Friday bagel. So I was 3-1 yesterday on that. But yeah. But other than that, looking there, the only look I'm going to have, I'll give you guys some last-minute NBA that I was looking at. Minnesota, LA, it's a 9.5. That leads me to believe that they think Kawhi is going to play. If he plays, he's still listed as a game-time decision at 3:30. With Beverly back and George back, they need to shake some rust off. I like that play. I also like the over. Minnesota doesn't play really as much defense as they should. Indiana and New York, the line's too big at 10.5. But I would probably take Indiana first half at 212. I'd also lean the over. I think Indiana's going to roll here. Miami, Orlando. Miami, as I've said before, always beats up on their little cousin. Miami's only at -2. Jimmy Butler is in. Kendrick Nunn is the one that you're worried about right now. I like Miami -2. Golden State, Cleveland. The only thing I'd be looking at this would be possibly the over, but it's pretty high there. You're expecting then a Cleveland team to score 110 points. But Golden State doesn't play any defense either. But I really think you've got a 3-game lead before them. I'd love Cleveland. Brass would basically love the Warriors to win this just to be able to have them have a chance to possibly drop down a space. So I wouldn't be shocked here at a Golden State win. You're getting 1.5 points at Cleveland, but I'd kind of lean the over, but that's just a lean. Brooklyn, Washington. Washington's playing. Damn, they're making these totals so huge on Washington. 242. Do you really expect every game to basically be 122 to 125? I don't know. I still think Bradley Beal's kind of pissed. Brooklyn's only at 1 point. Probably lean Brooklyn to be able to win this out. I think Brooklyn's trying to at least get close to 500 here. They still got a chance at the 8th playoff position. And then all things change if that happens. Who knows? Some players could actually be healthy enough to play. Philadelphia-Boston is the marquee game of the night. You're still having Josh Richardson out. Al Horford's a game-time decision. I like this team better when Josh Richardson's in. Tatum is definitely in. Kemba Walker's out on this game for Boston, though. Marcus Smart's in. You're getting a really small line of 2.5. I think the number's too low at 214.5. I think that's going to go over. I don't see a big defensive contested game that they think they're going to get here tonight. I think they're going to go deep from outside, and I think Ben Simmons, the new post-up Ben Simmons, I don't know why it took you 2 years to figure out the guy's 6'11". He can fill in at the 5, post him up every time versus point guards, especially if your center wants to shoot threes. I think that can happen. Atlanta-Dallas is an interesting game. Doncic is out this game. You're getting only 5.5. You're actually getting that with Atlanta. I don't understand this. Dallas is on a back-to-back. I think Atlanta's on a back-to-back too. But as Collins and Young plays, I'd probably take a first half over is what I've been looking at. Charlotte and San Antonio. Aldridge may play this game. I think the Charlotte team is done, but at 8.5, that's not a line I'm getting behind the Spurs with. Lakers versus Sacramento. This is a house play. I'm sorry. There's zero way I see the Lakers losing this game. I know everyone had that look last game, but after losing last night, unless they turn around and just sit a bunch of guys at 6 points, I can't see them coming out and laying an egg versus a really bad Kings team. That's going to be missing Bagley. Portland, Utah. I'm waiting to see if Carmelo plays. If Carmelo plays, I'll probably take in the points. Plus 6.5 is too many with this Portland team. Get on the bandwagon. They're winning games and scoring points. Also, this Utah team has lost, 3 in a row now after going on that streak. Yep. And not really on them there. We'll take a look. Oh, I'm also going to be probably on Devontae Graham under in points. Yes, I said under. The last couple games hasn't been shooting well, missing wide open jump shots. I think that sickness that he was coming out could still bother him. Deontay Murray's got length on him. I basically going to take Deontay Graham under in points and probably over an assist. Other than that, any last second plays, Sean, Chef?
No, none for me here.
All right, guys. Once again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for everyone in the chat coming together. We're going to kick off until next week, our Fandy Little show. As always, it's good to be the Fox. See you guys.
Bye.